a team like Argentina, with arguably the greatest player of all time, still having a very good tournament, 8 goals and 4 assists coming in, refusing to play football is absolutely disgraceful.
They might be the most hated nation in world football.
I've changed my mind now on Messi and Ronaldo. I was team Messi for a long, long time.
Back to Ronaldo.
I saw the bit where Cucurella sort of covered his mouth but didn't. And then Messi almost went to the head teacher and was grasping oh, he should get detention.
Nobody expected the biggest match in international football to be remembered for scenes like these. A World Cup final is supposed to be about history, celebration, and the moment a new champion stands on top of the sport.
The kicking, the nonsense, the fact that they weren't even willing to come out and play, it's a stain on the final. And it raises questions. How did Argentina even get there?
Millions of fans around the world tuned in expecting unforgettable goals, emotional celebrations, and another legendary chapter in football history.
We all understand that Argentina got the benefit of the doubt throughout this tournament. A number of decisions went their way against England. No need to readdress that, but Thomas Tuchel deserves a lot of blame. The fact that he refused to come out and attack that Argentina side, but they absolutely brought nothing, zero to the table.
Instead, the final whistle opened the door to something far more shocking. Before anyone could fully take in the result, the focus shifted away from the scoreboard and onto a confrontation that quickly became the biggest talking point of the night. The World Cup final ended with one player grabbing another by the throat and throwing him to the ground. It was not a hard challenge during play or a heated collision while chasing the ball. This happened after the match, with a player from the losing team confronting a player from the newly crowned champions. The trophy had not even been lifted. The confetti had not started falling.
117th minute, it was a blocked shot from outside of the area, Andy.
That was Argentina's first shot, 117th minute.
A player was sent off, but even more so, Scaloni, who I really rate as a manager, brought on 5 different players in the second half. All of them were defensive players. A holding midfielder and 4 defenders.
Lionel Messi's Argentina saw their reign as world champions come to an end. But instead of the usual handshakes and respect between opponents, the closing moments turned into a chaotic confrontation. That leaves one question above all the others. What really happened in the World Cup final?
I mean, he's playing not to win the game. That is completely against the spirit of this. I know that things are cagey and tight and you need to play things a little bit differently in a cup final, but I mean, that was never the way forward, and it made the entire event kind of anticlimactic at the end.
Fans expecting a smooth passing of the torch, another unforgettable championship moment, or a dramatic but respectful ending witnessed something completely different. They saw one team deliver a performance full of confidence and control, while the other lost its composure as the pressure grew. Spain played with discipline, patience, and quality. Argentina struggled to match that level. And as emotions boiled over in the closing moments, an old lesson about football and sportsmanship played out in front of more than 80,000 fans. If anyone walked away from this final wondering which style deserved to lift the trophy, the numbers gave the answer long before the medal ceremony began. This was not one of those matches where both teams traded chances until a single lucky moment decided everything.
It just felt like the football audience was wanting more. They're playing in front of a stadium full of very rich people who were spending tens of thousands of dollars on tickets, so the atmosphere wasn't there. All the stoppages, whether it was the hydration breaks into almost 30-minute halftime, then another hydration break. I felt like I was watching like a bad stage production with way too many intermissions. That's kind of what it felt like, overproduced and underdelivered.
From the opening whistle, one side controlled the game while the other spent most of the night trying to survive. The scoreboard only told part of the story. The statistics painted an even clearer picture. Football was the real winner here, and the performance on the pitch proved exactly why. But before the match even kicked off, FIFA had already sparked a major debate. For the first time in World Cup final history, organizers announced a full Super Bowl-style halftime show. The decision quickly divided fans around the world, with many arguing it changed the tradition of football's biggest event.
But Congratulations to Spain in the end.
Basically, if you have money, you don't know how to be a sports fan. Is that what we got from that
There's
too?
no atmosphere. Those aren't the real fans that are in the stadium. It's a bunch of celebrities and politicians.
We'll come back to that discussion in a moment. First, look at what actually happened on the pitch, because Spain produced one of the most dominant displays ever seen in a World Cup final. The numbers are hard to ignore. Spain finished with 20 shots, 12 of them on target, generated 1.9 expected goals, controlled 65% of possession, and recorded a 76% field tilt, meaning nearly 3/4 of the dangerous attacking play happened inside Argentina's half. Argentina's side of the stat sheet looked completely different. They managed just 2 shots all match, failed to put a single effort on target, and finished with only 0.2 expected goals. A clear sign that meaningful attacking chances were extremely limited. The contrast became even more striking when you looked at the goalkeepers. Spain's keeper was never forced into a save because Argentina could not test him once.
I'm disappointed, and honestly, man,
You don't need to do that.
I love Leo Messi, right? He is everything I want from a footballer, but that was horrible.
Why did he do that?
I don't know why.
Do that.
It's a World Cup final. I think he's desperate and he's reaching for everything that he possibly can. But you don't need to do that, Leo. Don't sink to those levels. I think Argentina outdid themselves in horribleness. Like what we saw at full time it's as bad as it can get. Like Paredes has fully lost his head, by the way.
Insane, wasn't it?
Completely lost his head.
On the other end, Emiliano Martinez produced 11 saves to keep his team in the match for as long as possible. Put those numbers next to each other. Argentina finished with 0 shots on target, while their own goalkeeper made 11 saves. That was not a balanced contest. It was one team controlling almost every important moment from start to finish. The longer the match went on, the more surprising the score became. Spain controlled possession, created chance after chance, and kept pushing forward, yet Argentina remained in the game deep into extra time. That raised an obvious question. How could a team spend so much of the night under pressure and still stay within reach of the trophy for more than 100 minutes? One explanation was the way the match was managed on the pitch. Instead of matching Spain's rhythm, Argentina increasingly focused on breaking up attacks, slowing the tempo, and making every dangerous move as difficult as possible. The contest became less about flowing football and more about constant interruptions, physical challenges, and frustration. The incidents began early. In the 14th minute, Alexis Mac Allister went into a late challenge on Dani Olmo that left the Spanish midfielder on the ground. Play continued without a booking. Not long afterward, Nicolas Tagliafico challenged teenage star Lamine Yamal in a sequence that one refereeing analyst described as deliberate and clumsy, pointing to the contact as he tried to stop the attack. The physical battles continued throughout the match. Lisandro Martinez was involved in another heavy challenge from behind on Mikel Oyarzabal. Later, substitute Leandro Paredes added even more tension when contact with Rodri led to players from both teams gathering during a heated confrontation. Interestingly, Spain defender Aymeric Laporte had hinted at this possibility before kickoff. He said Argentina were a team that liked to leave a lot of little messages through their challenges, suggesting the physical side of the contest could become just as important as the football itself. Aymeric Laporte's comments before the final did not come out of nowhere. They reflected what many people believed they had already seen throughout the tournament. From one match to the next, Argentina developed a reputation for turning games into physical battles, disrupting their opponent's rhythm and testing their composure as much as their football. Supporters of that view pointed to the semi-final against England as another example. Instead of remembering the match for flowing attacking play, many focused on the repeated challenges, heated exchanges, and growing frustration between both teams. Enzo Fernandez was involved in an early collision with Elliot Anderson. Leandro Paredes caught Jude Bellingham with a late challenge, while Christian Romero celebrated in a way that led to more confrontations after Argentina scored. Even unused substitute Valentin Barco became part of the drama after entering the field to celebrate near England's players, an incident that quickly increased tensions. To critics, that seemed to follow a familiar pattern: disrupt the opposition, frustrate them, and create an emotional battle alongside the football. If the other team lost its focus first, Argentina could gain an advantage. Another talking point throughout the tournament centered on the officiating. Some fans, analysts, and former players argued that several physical challenges involving Argentina were punished less severely than they expected. Others disagreed, saying the referees were simply trying to keep matches under control without constantly stopping play. Regardless of which side people supported, the decisions became a regular source of debate. The final brought those conversations back into the spotlight. Referee Slavko Vincic of Slovenia allowed play to continue through several strong challenges during the opening stages, and the first yellow card was not shown until the 41st minute. For many viewers, that approach encouraged an increasingly physical contest. As a result, discussion about the standard of officiating and whether key decisions had been consistent throughout Argentina's tournament only grew louder after the final whistle. No matter what people believed about the officiating, Spain produced the kind of performance that left very little room for those debates to decide the outcome. Their control of the match was so complete that they reduced the influence of every outside factor. Instead of getting pulled into constant arguments, confrontations, or attempts to disrupt the flow of the game, they stayed committed to their football. Spain kept the ball moving with patience and precision, forcing Argentina to spend long stretches chasing instead of creating. Every passing sequence increased the pressure, and every completed move made it harder for Argentina to slow the match down. Rather than responding emotionally to the physical challenges or the frequent stoppages, Spain continued playing with discipline, refusing to let the contest drift away from their style. As the game wore on, frustration began to show on the other side. Enzo Fernandez, already walking a fine line, received a yellow card after reacting to a refereeing decision with sarcastic applause. Then, deep into stoppage time at the end of normal time, he made another challenge on Spain defender Pau Cubarsí. The referee judged the tackle worthy of a second yellow card, followed by a red, leaving Argentina to play the entire extra time period with 10 men. The dismissal proved to be one of the defining moments of the final. Argentina had already spent most of the night defending, and now the task became even more difficult with one fewer player on the pitch. Fernandez also became only the third Argentine player to be sent off in a World Cup final, adding another remarkable statistic to an already dramatic evening. Spain sensed the opportunity immediately. They believed they had taken the lead earlier, only for the goal to be ruled out after the referee awarded a foul on Nicolas Otamendi. The decision sparked debate among fans, but it did little to change the momentum of the match. By the end of the first period of extra time, the balance of play had become overwhelming. Spain had registered 19 shots during that stretch of the contest, while Argentina had failed to produce a single attempt. The pressure kept building, and it felt increasingly like a matter of when, not if, Spain would finally find the breakthrough their performance deserved. Spain kept pushing, wave after wave, but the breakthrough refused to arrive. Every attack looked like it might be the one that changed everything. Yet, Argentina somehow found another block, another clearance, or another desperate intervention. As the minutes disappeared, the tension inside the stadium became impossible to ignore. The longer the score stayed level, the more the possibility of a penalty shootout started hanging over the match. Considering how completely Spain had controlled possession and created chances, that outcome would have felt incredibly harsh. Even players who rarely showed emotion began to reveal signs of frustration. Lamine Yamal, who had stayed composed throughout most of the tournament, reacted after absorbing several physical challenges as Spain searched for the goal that continued to escape them. Then, at last, the resistance gave way. In the 106th minute, Pedro Porro delivered a perfectly placed cross toward the far post. Nico Williams rose above his marker and directed the ball back across goal, where substitute Ferran Torres arrived at exactly the right moment. His finish flew past Emiliano Martinez, despite the goalkeeper's full stretch dive, finally giving Spain the lead. It came on their 20th shot of the match, a goal that reflected the pressure they had been building for almost 2 hours. The breakthrough felt inevitable by that stage. Spain had stayed patient, trusted their football, and continued creating opportunities until one finally found the net. Their persistence was rewarded after one of the most dominant displays seen in a World Cup final. At the same time, it is important to separate one player's performance from everything happening around him. Lionel Messi endured one of his quietest matches of the tournament. Spain limited his influence, closed down the spaces he usually exploits, and made it difficult for him to shape the game the way he had in earlier rounds. For long stretches, he struggled to leave his usual mark on the contest. There was one unusual moment after Argentina went down to 10 players. During an exchange with Marc Cucurella, Messi appeared to raise a concern with the referee about something that had been said. The official chose not to take any action, and play quickly continued. It became one of the more talked about moments involving Messi during the final, largely because it contrasted with the composed image fans are used to seeing. When the match finally ended, however, there was no confrontation from Messi. He did not become part of the post-match chaos. Instead, he remained by himself, overwhelmed by the result. He dropped to the pitch before eventually breaking down in tears, knowing that, at 39 years old, this was likely his final World Cup appearance. Whatever people thought about Argentina's overall display, that emotional moment reflected the disappointment of a player who had reached one more final after carrying enormous expectations throughout the tournament. Messi's place in football history was established long before this final. His achievements, including Argentina's World Cup triumph in Qatar 4 years earlier, remain part of his legacy regardless of what happened in this match. Even some of Argentina's strongest critics separated Messi from the wider discussion. Former Germany international Thomas Hitzelsperger strongly criticized the behavior of several Argentine players after the final, yet still described Messi as a football genius, making it clear that his opinion of the captain had not changed. That contrast became one of the most striking parts of the night. While Messi struggled to influence the match and ended it in visible disappointment, much of the attention shifted toward the behavior of several teammates during and after the final whistle. Instead of the farewell many fans had imagined, the closing moments became dominated by confrontation rather than celebration. At the same time, reducing Argentina to only those incidents would leave out an important part of the story. This squad has been widely recognized for its close bond, with players often speaking about their friendship away from football and the connection they built over several years together. That unity helped them win the 2021 and 2024 Copa America titles, as well as the 2022 World Cup, achievements that reflected far more than emotion alone. Their supporters also played a huge role throughout the tournament. Argentina's fans filled stadiums, turned cities into seas of blue and white, and created some of the most memorable atmospheres of the competition. Former striker Gabriel Batistuta praised the squad by saying, "This team did exactly what any fan would ask for, playing with heart." After the final, coach Lionel Scaloni also struck a respectful tone, saying, "We've been great in victory, and we need to be great in defeat." Those words were widely shared after the match because the scenes that followed told a different story. As Spain's players celebrated their victory, tensions quickly escalated between members of both squads. Reports and television footage showed Nahuel Molina becoming involved in a confrontation with Rodri, leading several players from both teams to gather. Eric Garcia stepped in as teammates attempted to separate those involved, but the situation became increasingly chaotic. Leandro Paredes was also seen in the middle of the incident as players pushed, argued, and tried to pull each other apart, while Lionel Scaloni rushed onto the field in an effort to calm his own players and bring the confrontation under control. The tension did not end with the final whistle. As emotions remained high, television cameras captured Nicolas Otamendi exchanging words with Rodri during the post-match scenes. According to widely shared reports, Otamendi told Rodri that Spain's players had been crying all week and should talk less. The exchange quickly became another moment that fueled discussion about how the final ended. The atmosphere stayed tense during the medal ceremony. While Spain celebrated becoming world champions, some viewers pointed to footage that appeared to show several Argentine players focusing on their own supporters rather than watching the celebrations on the podium. Others interpreted those moments differently, but the images spread rapidly and became another major talking point after the match. A similar debate followed the individual awards. When Rodri received the Golden Ball as the tournament's best player, chants for Lionel Messi could be heard from sections of the Argentine supporters. For some, it reflected continued support for their captain. For others, it took attention away from Rodri's achievement. Like many moments from the night, it became part of the wider conversation surrounding the final. Former Germany midfielder Toni Kroos summed up his view with a short message that quickly circulated across social media. "Football won. Those three words became one of the most widely shared reactions after Spain's victory, with many fans interpreting them as praise for the champion's style of play. Looking beyond the controversy, Spain's football spoke for itself throughout the tournament. This was not simply one outstanding performance in a single final. It was the continuation of an extraordinary run that had been building for weeks. Spain conceded only one goal in 9 matches, an incredible defensive record at the highest level. They defeated France, one of the tournament favourites led by Kylian Mbappe, with a convincing 2-0 victory that was even more one-sided than the score suggested. By lifting the World Cup, Spain added the world title to their European crown and extended their unbeaten streak to 38 matches, setting a new benchmark in international football. Spain's title was built on far more than one outstanding night. Throughout the tournament, they remained unbeaten, handled every challenge in front of them, and never drifted away from the football that had carried them to the final. Their success did not come from favourable circumstances or a single decisive moment. It came from consistency, composure, and a level of control that very few international teams have ever maintained over such a long run. Even when opponents tried to turn matches into physical contests or slow the rhythm, Spain rarely abandoned their identity. They kept possession, stayed organised, and continued creating chances without letting the emotion of the occasion take over. That discipline became one of the defining features of their championship campaign. Argentina had reached the final through determination, resilience, and several dramatic performances that inspired huge debate throughout the tournament. Along the way, some fans questioned whether certain refereeing decisions had favoured them, while others rejected those claims completely. Whatever anyone believed, the final placed the outcome firmly in the hands of the players on the pitch. Spain controlled possession, dictated the tempo, and gave Argentina very few opportunities to turn the match into the type of contest they preferred. By the end, the football itself had settled the argument. That naturally leads to another decision that sparked discussion long before the trophy was lifted. Before kickoff, FIFA introduced a full Super Bowl-style halftime show for a World Cup final for the first time. The production featured major international performers, including Madonna, Shakira, BTS, Justin Bieber, Burna Boy, Coldplay, and appearances involving football legends Ronaldo and Ronaldinho, creating a spectacle unlike anything previously seen at a World Cup final. Many viewers praised the scale of the entertainment and the quality of the production. Others argued that it changed the identity of football's biggest match and shifted attention away from the game itself. The criticism grew even louder because the halftime interval lasted approximately 27 minutes and 23 seconds, well beyond the 15-minute break referenced in the IFAB laws of the game under normal circumstances. Across social media, fans debated whether the added spectacle enhanced the occasion or distracted from one of football's longest-standing traditions, with one widely shared post joking, "Look how they massacred my beautiful game." The halftime show did not just divide opinion because of tradition. For many fans, it also raised questions about the flow of the match itself. Two teams had just completed an intense first half of a World Cup final, only to spend nearly half an hour waiting before play resumed. Critics argued that such a long break could affect players physically, with muscles cooling down, momentum disappearing, and the rhythm of the match changing. Supporters of the show viewed it as a way to expand the event's global appeal, while others believed football's biggest stage should always keep the focus on the game rather than the entertainment surrounding it. The off-field headlines continued after the final whistle. By the end of the night, the football itself almost had to compete with everything happening around it. The debates over the halftime show, the post-match confrontations, the ceremony, and the reaction in the stands all became part of a final that people will be discussing for years. Now it's your turn. What was the defining moment of this World Cup final? Was it Argentina finishing without a single shot on target, the heated confrontation after the match, or the scenes during the trophy ceremony? Share your thoughts in the comments because there is plenty to debate. If you enjoyed this breakdown and want more deep dives into football's biggest stories, make sure to like the video, subscribe to Matchio, and turn on notifications so you don't miss what's coming next. The full World Cup retrospective is on the way, covering the biggest surprises, standout performances, controversial moments, and unforgettable matches from start to finish. Thanks for watching and for being part of the conversation. See you in the next one. Peace.